There's no sound in this thing. There's no sound. Why's no sound? Okay.
Resting English channel.
There is no sound now. What's in there?
Sir, can you hear me? Okay. This is the interpreter. I'm speaking into the English channel right now.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad that we're all here and that I see representatives from all the schools so that we could all learn from each other and bring our experiences here. Thank you. So what am I pushing for them? It's just keep. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
How it sound?
Okay, let's just, this is the agenda quickly. We'll just go through our new name of the group and how we shared it. We'll just go to the questions. Thank you. So, in the last meeting, who remembers what the name of how we changed the name of our group? Who can share that with me? Brenda?
Changed the name from DELAC, and now it's going to be the Community of Multilingual Families.
The Community of Multilingual Families. And why did we do that? Why did we change the name?
Sometimes their parents, just for the name for DELAC, they didn't know what we are talking about. I could say, oh, I'm going to a DELAC meeting, but they are just like, oh my God, what is that? How can we eat that or something like that, right? So we changed the name because with another name, the parents will know what we are talking about. So a community of multilingual families, I already know that it is for families multilingual.
That's right. Excellent. Does anybody want to add to that? Now that she has told us that, yes.
I think it also opens it up for more families when you hear English learners, and I'm like, oh, my child's not an English learner, right? But when you hear multilingual, it just invites, I feel like it invites more families.
Agreed.
It creates a curiosity.
Agreed. You guys bring excellent points. But in addition to that, we wanted to change it because we're learning about using positive words. And when sometimes we use the words English learner, it's kind of like, oh, they're learning English. So we wanted to change it from that tone to multilingual families. So it sounds more like a benefit to the child instead of a deficit to them. So in addition, we did that change because of that as well. Now, how did we share that with our community? Did we tell anybody about that? Anybody online? Yeah. While you look at that, we shared it. I got the opportunity to participate in Billy Mitchell's meeting, in their monthly meeting, and we participated and we spoke about it. Liliana, do you want to share a little about that?
So we started off with showing the different languages that were represented at Billy Mitchell in our community in Billy Mitchell. And then we started talking about how these students and these families have a superpower. And we talked a lot about that. And then we dipped into a little bit about what the purpose of our committee is. And really just changing that mindset. We're gonna empower our students and our children. And even when we go home, I think that Lydia shared it with our parents, like even calling them a superhero at home, because they do have this superpower. They can go back from, they understand one language and, at home, and then they go to school and then they're learning in English. So we talked about how our committee is called English Learner Advisory Committee and how we want to change the name so that similar to here, we want to empower more families to participate.
So, but that's it. Homework. Tell somebody about our new name. Invite them. Invite them, because with the more participation we have, the more voices we have for us to be heard. So please pass that on. And don't forget about your elevator speech. And make it, personalize it. Does anybody want to share a quick elevator speech? No? Well, I'll give it a step. Come to us. Hi, my name's Lydia. I am the DELAC president. DELAC is the community of multilingual families here in the Lawndale School District. I would like to invite you so that you could see all the benefits that we have as a multilingual community. Please come and see and learn how we can make every child succeed. Our meetings are on this day, So give it a stab, something very quick, a quick line, or make it more personable. Come, I'm gonna find out about a meeting about the testing. Come with me. Come with me. Now it's more of an invitation. So hopefully we see more faces and the Zoom world joins us more in-house. But now we also had our parent conferences. From what we discussed at our last meeting, how to get comfortable with our teachers. Do you want to share a question you may have asked during your parent conferences? Any parents? Yes.
Yeah, I just have a question. Is there like a time limit when we have like a teacher conference? Because when I had mine, it was like really fast, so I didn't have chance to make questions.
Good question. Can you help me with that?
Of course, yeah, so typically parent conferences are about 15 minutes. However, you can definitely ask to meet with your teacher at any time. You can just send a parent conference and say, I still have some questions. After we met, would it be possible for us to meet? So I would recommend reaching out to the teacher and setting up a time with your teacher. Absolutely.
Great question. Yeah, because 15 minutes sometimes does seem a little bit rushed. But I would also like to remind you, ask everything through Parent Square. Just drop a question daily. I mean, maybe not daily, maybe not daily, but weekly. Do a weekly check-in to see, hey, is there an area that my child needs work in this week? Or I'd like to know how they did on this test, or something like that. What I used from what I learned in our last meeting, I asked for my child's iReady scores, because teachers are not necessarily required to give you the iReady scores, but because I knew that they were out there, I wanted to know for my personal knowledge of my child, of how my child is doing, so I was able to ask for those in advance, so she had them ready for me during our meeting. So that's one of those things. And remember, yes, request those times for if you have more questions, like Liliana said, Eliana, because I'm looking at Liliana, so I apologize. So ask for meetings if you need to. One second of why. Okay. Why we put this here is because this is an example of a flyer that is created to attract people. that we could put up on Parent Square, that we could have ready in our hand to invite people. Do we have to make some changes to this, or
We-
add?
Yeah, we're definitely, so this was
The-
the original, this was a video actually that.
Oh,
was
this is the
created. This is
video.
the
Tell me,
video.
yes, okay.
Yes. So, I reached out to my ELAC committee and asked if they would share about their experience or anything they wanted to share around ELAC. And, with the support of so I recorded them, they came up with what they wanted to say, like their elevator speech almost, right?
Mhm.
And then at my school site, we put it together into the video. And so we promoted it on social media, and we promoted it on our Parent Square. Yeah, I think it was very empowering to hear the voice of our parents. So the link is there if you want to show it, but yeah.
The link is there. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
you
Let's
can-
show it. Let's see that. Is it there?
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, this video got me very excited, and Brenda, we need to do this at Mark Twain, please. We want to do it at all the schools because it is true. When you personalize it with parents, it's like, oh, I know her. I didn't know that my child was, maybe she has some information for me. You know, maybe she can help me.
Quick. We are having yeah, I realize. Okay. No problem. Maybe we'll come back to it. It's loading, so because of our internet.
I think in terms of how the identity plans and all of that, don't forget that we also have our e-learning representative and each school. So you can always contact our e-learning and also ask for, some results, only sometimes, and then some names are like, you ready, all those information.
Thank you for that, Tanya.
Okay, we're having like internet issues, so
Yes.
okay, we'll have to show it maybe next time. But maybe we can-
Yes,
Yeah.
or look, yes, sorry, we can't show it to you. We are having issues with the internet today, but sorry, we can't show it to you. But I invite you to visit their social media.
Yeah.
Go check them out and give it a like and share it. Share it. Okay, so Miss Julie, we have been working with the alerts, Miss Julie, who gonna be here today with us, about our vision and mission. Did anybody have time to review our mission and vision? Our vision and mission? How do you feel about it? Let me read it to you. Our vision. At LESD, we celebrate the linguistic and cultural strengths of our English learners. Our language development program ensures that all students have equitable access to rigorous content while fostering bilingualism, biliteracy, and academic success. By integrating students' languages and cultures into instruction, we create a supportive, inclusive environment where every learner can thrive. How do you feel about that? Because I feel really good. This sounds very promising. This sounds like we're very inclusive, that our teachers are going to learn, our teachers, our staff, our parents, we're all going to learn about the different ways to help the different cultures, not just one, everybody, and use that in their learning. So I like that.
Yeah, and sort of add to what you just said. I think that some schools are doing a good job by creating different events that you can actually feel that. Like a few weeks ago, at Mark Twain, they did a wax museum. What's it called? Wax museum?
Yes.
So the kids had to choose an idol, and they will pretend that they were them. And so they have the English button and the
and the Spanish button, and you can see the presentations on each one, and I thought that that was like a really, really good way to see the vision that, the district has, and I think it represented it very well. I like that.
It was the 5th grade class who did that event. And really, I think it was a beautiful event because it brought a lot of different cultures together. And it was the first year they did that. And so we hope to grow it and make it more, because it's not only the students loved it, but parents and teachers loved it as well. That was brought on by Mrs. Cruz's 5th grade class. Yes. It was a beautiful thing to see all the different languages, to the cultures represented in one place. So yes, it's a beautiful example. Thank you for sharing that, Tanya. Yes, Brenda.
About the vision, I do like that in the description, you do also have empowering our students. Like one more thing to do, because empowering our students for being bilingual will be a really good thing to add in that vision.
Okay. I agree. Because it puts the power in the student. That's right. Let me write it down before I forget.
You can also
Because
bring it
Ms.
back-
Julie, you
can
got,
bring it back to Julie.
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So then I can-
Thank you. Mhm. Now, our mission. Our mission is to provide English learners with high quality instruction that builds on their linguistic and cultural assets through targeted language support, culturally responsive teaching, and collaborative practices. We equip students with the skills needed to access academic content, achieve success across all subject areas, and thrive as active participants in our diverse school community and beyond. Because this is like our life goal. This is what we want for life. I see a lot of shaking heads, yes. So we're all on the same page. Let me know if there's any comments on the internet. We're okay to go to the next? Yeah? Thumbs up if you guys like it? Yeah, okay.
That made it away from here. Disappeared on me.
Thank you. I don't know. Oh, there it is
Press
again.
more.
Mhm.
Real bit. And we should say hide video panel. Okay. I think this one can disappear too. But I don't see them more. Hide floating. No. Yeah, mommy's sweater.
Okay. The next thing, we want to, did we get a check? Okay. We have this calendar and we want to fill it up. We want to fill it up so that we get at a glance, we know exactly what's going on at what school and what we can maybe I can pop in at their meeting because I want to learn something. What do they have to say? So we want to fill this calendar and we want to make sure. So please, let's get our dates to Julie so that we could put everything in here. And I was, like I said, I was able to visit the Billy Mitchell and it was great. It was great seeing the parents because sometimes you could just do it at drop off. Sometimes you can't come to the district meeting. So it was great to be able to see some of the faces and learn about what they're doing over there to see what we could take back to our different schools and what I could share with you guys here. So, let's, hopefully, we'll see some of you soon. Yes,
If I can add, it was really nice having you there because this idea of that we are a community, right? We talk a lot about that. And it's not just like a Mitchell thing or a, you know, a Smith thing, or like we are a Lawndale community. And then to see like Lydia there, not at Villa Mitchell, it was just really nice. And it was nice for my parents as well to like, you connected with them on my parents that you had never met before. And it was just really nice. So thank you for being there, Lydia.
I appreciate that. And you know what? It was really nice feeling appreciated because I really did. The parents were like, it was very welcome. It was a nice meeting. You guys should go. Go to Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, which was awesome. Mhm.
All filled out, are you just gonna post it on Parent Square or like where am I gonna be able
I'm sure that I can get you an answer to where it's gonna be posted. I think it'd be,
We can share our district wide.
we could,
Yeah, we would share it district wide so everyone can have it, and then we can have it on our website. So we have a DELAC, so you can have the calendar, when you really want. to just go there and-
yes, so it will be shared at a district level.
Get out and.
Yeah, and the magnet board, excellent, yes, excellent. Mhm, mhm. Okay, so now we have a special presentation from Ileana. Take it away.
So I am Ileana Cruz. I am the English learner instructional resource teacher at Billy Mitchell Elementary School. And this topic of reclassification and supporting our dually identified student, it really sits in my heart. And it's something that I'm learning and I'm growing and developing my knowledge around. So this is one of my passions. So I get excited about because I'm curious and it's that curiosity. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how our students with IEPs, how they're supported in English and how are they progressing towards reclassification. So first, let's just review really quickly what the reclassification criteria is. So the first criteria, we have two assessments. We have LPAC and we have alternate LPAC. LPAC is for our students who are in general education or students who have an IEP typically and they're being seen by our learning center. And then we have students who have a cognitive disability and typically they're in our passages program and they take the alternate LPAC. So the first is they need a score from one of those assessments. Second criteria is they have a teacher recommendation, and I'll talk a little bit about what that is. And then the third criteria is a comparison of performance and basic skills. So some other assessments that your students take in the classroom. And then the final piece is a parent consultation. And then I'll talk a little bit about that. So 4 parts in order to reclassify. Okay, so we have 3 different pathways. The first pathway is for our students who are in general education. They don't have an IEP, they're just in their general education class. They have to score a level 4 on that LPAC, on the summative LPAC, which typically they take in the springtime. Our window for this LPAC is February 1st through May 31st. So here in Lawndale, we typically assess in February. We assess our 3rd through 8th grade students in February. And then we do it 1 round. And then after that, towards the end of February and then early beginning of March, we assess our kindergarten through 2nd grade. For pathway number 2, which is our students who have an IEP and go to learning center, get support from our learning center and have different some goals working towards their learning. They also have to score a level 4. In years prior, they could score below a 4. However, the CD and the state changed that over the summertime. And we're working here with our learning center teachers and our special education department on looking at, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in the next couple of slides, of the different accommodations that are available for our students who have a learning disability and have an IEP. The goal is that they will, that they do need to get that level 4 on the LPAC, which is the highest level that they can get. And then our final pathway is with for our passages, students in our passages program. These are students that have a cognitive disability who take the alternate LPAC. There's 3 levels on that one, and the highest being a level 3. So they would need to score a level 3 on the alternate LPAC. And it's a similar assessment. Both assessments assess listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Both of these assessments. Okay. So here, and this is available on the CDE website. I think we do we share this presentation with parents? Do we know or no? Is this ever pushed out?
It's not on
Okay,
the website.
Okay, there is a link, and I'll connect with the alerts about sharing this, but you're more than welcome to, if you want to take a picture. It's at the bottom. On the CDE website, there's a lot of resources for parents. So what I would recommend you to do is go to the CDE website, and there are resources there. One of them is this parent guide. We just have the English and Spanish up just for space wise, but it explains specifically who takes the test, why they take the test, when they take the test, how they're being assessed, and then how you can support your child at home. They do have it for summative LPAC, and they have it for alternate LPAC as well. If you would like to reach out to one of the alerts, if you're having a hard time finding it, reach out to the alerts. We can definitely get this printed out for you and send it home, or send it digitally to you at home. There is a guide for the alternate LPAC as well, as I mentioned. Again, explaining, it's a very nice summary. It's really easy. As I read it, I was like, okay, this is a little bit more easier for me to understand why my child is taking the alternate LPAC or the LPAC and why they take it. And again, that's also on our CDE website. All right, so let's talk about, so we talked about criteria 1, which is they need to, on LPAC, they need to get a level 4, and then alternate LPAC a level 3. So now let's talk a little bit about the second criteria, which is the teacher evaluation. So with the ELR and with the teachers, we monitor our students, and once we see that they've reached a level 4, we connect with the teacher and say, okay, this student scored a level 4 on the LPAC, or they scored a level 3 on the alternate LPAC. Let's talk about how your student is doing in the classroom. How are they progressing as an English only student? If they have an IEP or are in our passages program, how is the student comparing to an English only student who has the same or a similar disability? Okay, we talk about them. We look at their English arts grade, which encompasses a lot. It's their fluency, it's their reading, it's their writing, it's their comprehension. So there's different things that the teacher is using in class, how they're doing in the classroom, their performance. For our students who are in learning center and have an IEP due to a learning disability, we also look at their language arts grade to see how they're doing in all of those areas in language arts, reading and speaking, in their listening and in their writing. We look at district-wide language arts assessments. And this is a team decision. We meet with the learning center teacher, we meet with the school psychologist. We look, if there's a speech pathologist, if they have a speech IEP, we also connect with them. And we look at how they're progressing towards their IEP goals, because their goals look a little bit different as opposed to a student who's just in general education. So we really focus on these goals to make sure that they are making the progress towards their English language arts. We look at a lot of the formative assessments in language arts. And then if there's any interventions that have been in, with the, language arts specialist or with the language arts, we have instructional aides who do like rounds of intervention. We also take into consideration that data from there and see how they're progressing in the intervention. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of like a nice, like visual. We can see kindergarten through second grade, what that looks like. When we're looking at, the third piece, which is not just, the teacher recommendation, we're looking at their assessments, again, to see if our students who are multilingual, bilingual, are accessing the content as an English only student, right? So when we're looking at kindergarten through second grade, they have two assessments that they can take. The first one is a benchmark unit assessment. So those are, our benchmark is our curriculum that we use for language arts. Our teachers in trimester 1 give the unit 1 assessment. So after they've completed unit 1, there's an assessment. We look at that. If they score a 70%, that's the criteria we set here in Lawndale, then we can move forward with reclassification. If that, if they didn't meet that criteria, they have a second opportunity, which is at the end of second trimester, they take unit 4, or around second trimester, once they complete unit 4 in the benchmark curriculum, if they score a 70% on the unit 4, then they can reclassify. So 2 opportunities there for kindergarten through second. For our first through second grade, they take, you heard Lydia mention the iReady assessment. They take it in language arts and in math. The first one they took at the beginning of the year. In December, our students are going to be taking it again, the second week of December, or excuse me, December 2nd, the week of December 2nd. They're going to be taking it again. They have to be at grade level in their reading. So if students are reading at grade level, there's another opportunity they can reclassify. So let's say your child is at a level 4 and they're in first grade. Okay, they didn't score 70% on unit 1. Unit 4 is not till later. Oh, in December, they're taking their next diagnostic, their reading diagnostic. Okay, let's see how they score on that. So when you're wondering what to ask your teachers, ask them, say, how did my child do on unit 1? Is there an area that my child needs to work on? So when it comes down to unit 4, what's the unit going to be about? Unit 4, what's that going to be about? Or how are they scoring on iReady? I think you asked your teacher, how did my child do on iReady? Ask the teachers, how did they do in the diagnostic? Is there an area that we need to work on? Okay, so that it could be at grade level. That's kindergarten through second. Kindergarten will take the iReady at the end of the school year. They don't take it in the beginning or in December. I think it's just at the end. Just for kindergarten.
They are gonna take it.
Oh, they are taking it in December. Okay, so they are taking it in December. They didn't take it at the beginning, but in December, kindergarten students will take it. Now, third through fifth have the same 2, as I mentioned, the benchmark assessments or the iReady. They do have another opportunity, which is the SBAC assessment that they take. Our 3rd through 8th grade students take the SBAC, which is in May of every year. The first time our students take it is in 3rd grade. We look at their English language arts score on the SBAC, and they have to be in the upper 2 quartiles, which is about 50% of approaching which is standard nearly met on the SBAC. So if you have a current 4th through 8th grader, they have an SBAC score. 3rd grade, not just yet, because they'll take it for the first time in May. So if you have a 4th or through 8th grader, you can definitely access their SBAC score on PowerSchool. If not, you can definitely ask the teacher or ask one of the leaders, and we can share with you the report on how your child did on SBAC. Okay. 6th through 8th grade, the only difference is they don't take any unit assessments. So they take the iReady, and that's the only criteria that they're using, or they're looking at SBAC as well. Okay. So that was general education. Now let's talk about our students who have an IEP they have a learning disability and they go to learning center, okay? So it's the same thing. We're looking at how they're doing on these assessments. We do take those into consideration. We want to make sure that the student is showing that same growth. For example, with another student who is English only with a similar disability. So it's a little bit different because we're comparing them to an English only student, but just with a similar or same disability. We want to make sure that they're receiving English language development for a minimum of at least 3 years. We want to make sure that that's part of an intervention, that the student is receiving that language support. And yeah, we're just really looking at their goals, really taking into consideration how they're progressing through their goals. It's a conversation we have with the learning center teacher, with the alerts, where we're doing observations with the student, really trying to define, is it a language, you know, that the student still needs language support, or is it the disability that's impeding from the student accessing content? Okay. And at any time, if you have a question on how your child is progressing towards their language development, that's a really nice conversation to have with the teacher, with their learning center teacher, their case carrier, which is typically the learning center teacher, with the ELR. So any of us can sit down and really look at the IEP and then think about how they're progressing through their language or their English language development. And then the last pathway, again, as I mentioned, is our students who are in our passages program, or pathways, no passages. Passages is our district. Pathways is at Mitchell. That's they both start with P. So again, they just have to score a level 3 on the alternate LPAC. When we're discussing how they're doing in the classroom and how they're performing on their basic skills assessments with the teacher, we're looking at different assessments that they take. Some of the classroom performance. Their curriculum is called N2Y. So that's the curriculum where they have math and language arts. And we're looking at their benchmark assessments that they take. And then also they have what they call checkpoints, which at the end of their unit, they have these assessments that they take. And then we're looking at those and again, comparing, are they progressing as an English only student with a student with the same or similar disability? We look at their IEP goals. And if there's any intervention that the teacher is providing, we look at that as well. But it's really typically looking at their IEP goals and then a lot of these checkpoints that they take with the curriculum. For our students who take, again, this is 3rd through 8th grade, they take the CAW, which is like the SBAC. It's called the California Alternate Assessment for ELA and Math. Our 5th graders and 8th graders are the only ones that take the science. We look at it, but we really take this one into consideration. So looking at that and seeing how they are scoring on that assessment. I'd have to look at the specific cut points again. I don't have them off of the top of my head, but I can look for those if any of you are wondering. If you have a 3rd through 8th grade student, I can look at what the cut point is to see what that reclassification criteria is. But again, that's only for our 3rd through 8th grade students because they're the only ones that take. It's called the CAW for short. Okay. All right. Now, when we're talking about students that are dually identified, meaning that they have a learning disability or there's a cognitive disability and they're bilingual or multilingual, there are a lot of supports that, trying to get rid of this. Okay, there are a lot of supports out there for our students. Again, this is public for any parent to see. I would search. There's a lot of videos on our website. I know our internet's really low. I was going to show you one, but different universal tools. The accommodations are provided in a child's IEP. So I would ask, if you're not familiar with what the accommodations are for your child, I would definitely ask. I would ask the learning center teacher, or it's in your IEP that's printed out. But there are other supports, designated supports that we can provide. accommodations, those do have to be entered into the IEP. But the other ones like separate setting, and magnification, a lot of these are provided for our students. And again, it's work that we do, you know, with the teacher, with the learning center teacher, our passages teachers, they're public. Again, if you want to see what this looks like, I can reach out to one of us, the e-alerts, and we can find it for you and print it out for you. But you would just search up accessibility resources in the CDE website, and there's a lot of resources for parents to be able to see. Yes.
Computer friendly. So I think that would be a good idea. Send this information to our leader so that I will again. I'm from Martin.
Yes.
So I can talk to her about few of the slides that I saw that it was very important.
Absolutely.
Probably send it to the parents from IEP so that they can be aware of all these options that they have.
Yeah.
Because most of the IEP parents.
I'm sorry, we can't hear her. I'm sorry, we can't hear her.
Where they could go.
Yeah.
So I think that is important information for them to know.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Yes, I would. For sure. Yeah, definitely. I would recommend you talking to the, you know, reaching out to the e-learner and saying, can you help me find, you know, this was shared, and maybe Brenda at the next meeting too that you have with your parents. I think it would be good to bring this up as well. You know, having these, like, what are the accommodations that are, I don't even know what they're, does my child even have this accommodation? Does my child have this designated support? Again, I think we do a really good job with our learning center teachers and our passages teachers and with the e-alerts. We work in tandem. I meet with my learning center teacher, I mean, every month, if not bi-weekly, because we are looking to make sure that our students are getting the appropriate supports, and they are making that progress towards language development.
You know, and just so you know, in addition to that, I just want to let you know that I am going to work to put these on the DELAC website, to put all of our presentations, because yes, they should be out there, and they should be accessible. And I gave myself homework too, to put those up there, as well as create a page with all the links to the test, the practice test. So maybe if we could do like a cheat sheet of links that we could spread out, and then maybe post it on Parents Square, they just click on that, and it'll take them directly to it so they can see the things. So we do have that, and we'll work on that.
Absolutely.
Because it's a great resource.
The interpreters asking to speak louder.
Louder, sure.
Clearly.
Okay.
It's the rest.
The rest, got
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
So in addition to that, I was thinking about our IEP students. I know that I should have done this like 3 weeks ago, but better late than never. I requested Ms. Julie to please give me or give us the data scores of our English learners and reclassified students with IEP, because I would like to know the percentage that are meeting standards on I-rating reading, I-rating math, SBAC ELAC, and SBAC math. So that I see the vision, I see the mission, but I also would like to see the data. If with the mission that we have, is we are actually achieving all those goals, but looking at the student scores and how many IEPs are we classifying, and you know, and not too many are we classifying, then what we can do about it to support them better.
Okay. What do you
Writing
Okay,
it
yeah.
down.
Perfect, awesome. This was just going to be one example that we have. I wanted to show you what it looked like, like, for example, a student who needs color contrast, but the video is not loading, so, but again, a lot of these, there's tons of videos on what they look like and what they are. These are just different ones that we just took different, as you can see, there's multiple designated supports, accommodation, for our students, printed test directions, print side, even like a cursor, something as like a cursor can be enlarged, like the little pointer, separate setting. There's something called text to speech where students, or speech to text where students are speaking and then it types it for them. So there's different ones. Let's see here. You know, things that are being read aloud to them. Magnification, one of the ones that I've used before with our students. Recently, last year, we did something called masking, where we enter in. Again, this is a conversation with the teacher, right? Thinking about what is being done every single day to support our student, right? It's not something that we just assign it for a test. No, this is something that the student needs and day to day, right? Not just for a test. So we had a student last year in our passages program who, when again, the assessment's done on the computer, the LPAC. And there was just too much on the screen, and minimizing things was not enough, because we do have the option of minimizing and enlarging things, but masking, we assigned it for, which is right here. It's a designated support. We're pretty much imagine like a black box and it covers, like we would just cover whatever was too much for the students, so overstimulating the student. And we were able just to focus on, like, let's say, a story. We were able to cover the questions or just focus on like the image or just the words. And then we would mask, we just masked a lot of different things. And then we clicked in it. It really helped the student because a lot of the things that they were seeing on the screen really overstimulated the student and they were losing focus. So we learned that in the classroom. Another one is an AAC device. If a student communicates using a device, and we have some nonverbal students and they communicate with an AAC device, we upload the pictures from the LPAC assessment, and then the student's able to use their AAC device with the assessment. So lots of different accommodations that are out there on your free time. I encourage you to try to maybe search through these. They are on the CDE website, but we'll definitely, I'll connect with the alerts about getting these out there for you all. All right.
Okay.
With that, any questions you might have? Again, we're learning, we're a team, we're learning, we're really, as the alert team, we're really developing, we're working closely with our special ed department here, Crystal and Jackie, and our learning center teachers. So we're growing and we're developing. And if I don't have the answer today, or we don't have the answer today, we will find the answer. All right, so thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Why is it important that we familiarize ourselves with everything Liana told us about? The reason why we want to get lost in these, the reason why we want to click on these tests is because we want to know what our kids are going to go through when they're taking these tests. We want to be able to understand our children and say, they're asking you to concentrate on the story, or just to understand them about the test, because I'm not exactly sure about everything on the test, but to understand what the test is like. We need to know so we understand our children, and we are able to help them and figure out where we can help them. So
Can I add to that?
Yes.
A little bit about just not the LPAC, but at the different schools, at all of our school sites, our emerging bilinguals are taking interim assessments to prepare them for the LPAC, and it's part of our benchmark curriculum. And our teachers gave it to our emerging bilingual students. And what we did with the work with the alerts is we looked at their LPAC scores and their different domains, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And the teachers decided with the group of students, we need to really develop their speaking skills, or really need to develop their reading skills, or their writing skills, or listening skills. So they focus on a specific domain. And we've given one interim assessment, just to see how they were doing. The teacher's planning on giving another one in December, just to see, like, another checkpoint to see how they're doing. And in the interim, they used how the students scored on like this practice test to develop lessons on how to support their students. So you can also ask the teachers, about these interim assessments. They have the data as well, and so,
I have a question for you.
yes.
I'll come right back to you. How far in advance do we know when these testings are gonna be? Or when the pre-test or the test? For example, we know when the LPAC and all the different tests are gonna be already. Okay, because I gave myself some homework to create a table of when the testing is going to be, so us as parents know what to look forward to, or what to start asking questions about. So, so I gave myself some homework on that. So I think that would be, do you agree that that would be a helpful tool? So that way we know as parents, because, or hey, let's get you an extra good breakfast because this is happening, so we know what to do. You have it available? Okay, great. Oh, excellent. Great tool for parents to have. And then, we just reinforce, we become stronger together. Yes.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, now that I joined PTA, I know that last year, and probably we will do this year again, we did for all the students, snacks, healthy snacks. So that, let's say they didn't have breakfast that day, or they're starving, and so that's the way where PTA is, I think, helping, all of our students. But I also wanna know, how are we helping our IEP students? I've never been into an IEP testing environment, so I don't know if the students are allowed to, I don't know, like for example, go outside, stretch a little bit, or have like bouncing balls, or I don't know, have a corner of, that they can, do meditating. I'm just like brainstorming here. So I would also like to know from our IEP teachers, what things do they need, so that as parents, we can put us together and see how we can support that group better.
That would be great. Yeah, we do have separate setting for students who have separate setting. They have breaks, again, depending on their IEP. But typically they have breaks, it is a smaller group, it's not the whole classroom. But that would be really great to connect with our learning center teacher, just, what other things like that. I mean, I know they get their snack just like everyone else, it's part of their classroom. If they have different seating, or some students need specific headphones, but yeah.
That will be good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, did we get the person online? No, the comment.
Anybody else online?
Would anybody online like to make a comment? Okay, please raise your hand. Okay, so it's happening, it's coming up, put it in your calendar, March 26th to 29. CABE. Who knows about CABE? All right, yeah, I see some faces. Last year, I wasn't part of CABE. But boy, was I jealous when I found out about the people who attended CABE. Because here, they came here to learn from other schools, other districts, other areas, other nationalities, a little bit of everybody, to learn what best practices they would like to see in their school. And they learned what tools are accessible to them to bring those ideas to your school. So it's time to speak to your principal. It's time to create a team of the people that you want to represent you at your school. And you go to your principal and you talk to them and you see how you guys can get to CABE. Because the more we learn and the more workshops that we participate, maybe some here, some there, we can all bring that back to our here, to all of our schools. And we can create more. And Brenda, I'm going to put you on the spotlight. Please tell us your experience and why I think that you going to CABE was a wonderful success.
Yeah, sure. I love to go to CABE because every time I attend to CABE, I always learn a lot. And one of the things that I bring to CABE was from one of the moms that also attends CABE, who told me, oh, you know, in this presentation, they are talking about another school that has a group for special needs families. We have that in London. So I told her, oh, no, we don't have it. We could. So this year, we start with a group for special needs families. So we could learn about what other schools are doing in their own district and think, oh, you know, I want this for my district too. And bring all the information and create a more powerful community for all our kids, because we all are here because we want a better education for our children, right? So we could learn and bring information and create a better district for our kids.
And as parents, when, as a parent myself, I came to this meeting and we know that your time is very valuable. We know it's hard to get to these meetings sometimes. But when I came to this meeting, first of all, the house was packed. It was full. And everyone, even if they didn't have a child with special needs, there were so many people here from the community that wanted to give back because they had ideas, because they had children who were in these positions. And that is the point of CABE. This is bringing the community together so that we don't have to start from scratch, so that we could develop on the ideas that other people have and are already implementing and working in their districts. You know, and surprise to me, it was a very good example of where we want to get this committee to, you know, where we can help this committee grow to, because I mean, we live in California. We are multilingual. We are very valuable and we have to be able.
We have a question in the Spanish channel in the chat.
So start talking to your principals, put it in your calendar, and let's see how we can get there.
Online.
Yes.
She has a question. Tengo una pregunta. She has two children in the district. She says she has 2 months in the country. I guess she has a question on ¿cuánto tiempo debo esperar para tener el apoyo de una terapeuta? So she's asking how soon.
Woman, hello, I have a question. I currently have 2 children in 7th grade at Will Rogers Middle School, and they're doing fine. We've been in the country 2 years.
How long should she be able to get therapist help?
She can reach out to the teacher or to our social workers. I would ask the teacher if she can connect with the social worker, if she can connect her with the social worker. What side is she from?
She has a child in Rogers Middle School and Billy Mitchell.
Oh, if you go right down there.
Mhm.
I can connect with her. Thank you.
And I would encourage, I would encourage her, she's asking in Spanish.
Yeah.
Señora, yo soy Lidia, mucho gusto, bienvenida. Solo quería decirle que
Hello,
yo.
I am Lydia. I'd like to, in my opinion, I'd like to ask you to go every week. When you want something, go every week to the office and ask them, where are we right now?
welcome to the country. And as a parent, I would go weekly to the office if I didn't have an answer on something. Or reach out weekly, not necessarily walk into the office, but send a message and say, where are we with this?
Y señora, no se olvide de que todas las escuelas
Do
tienen
not forget that all schools have a community liaison.
enlace comunitario. So, si están muy ocupados en
Community liaison. If they're too busy at the office, you can make contact with the community liaison because it's that person's job to guide you and to give you the support to your children with any difficulty that you might have.
Con mucho gusto. Okay, upcoming board meetings, please participate in our board meetings, especially this one. And I'm just kidding, all of them. But we're gonna be presenting, they like to highlight a school at every meeting, and this time it happens to be Mark Twain. So we will be here, some of the parents, we will be here. But please come to all the rest of the meetings, and there you have them so that we can start planning and putting them on our schedule. Okay, this was, okay. This is to announce the change of time. The meetings will now start beginning at 5 p.m. Please?
So,
Mhm.
Julie included this, slide so you guys can see where our board meetings are at. So if you go to the district website and you go under board, there's going to be a section called board meetings and agendas. And you can find the dates and times here. So yeah, our meeting is at 5. We used to have a 5:30, right? It used to be at 5:30, but now it starts at 5. And it's a good place to go because at the very bottom, you can't see it here, at the very bottom, we publish our presentations there for families to review in case you need to go back. But also, if you go to the next slide, can you go to the next slide?
Yes.
This one. So, what's happening is starting January, any meetings after January 1st, if you require translation, whether it's in Spanish or a different language, we'll require you to submit a, request to the district at least 72 hours before the board meeting. So by them, because our board meetings are Thursday, so like by Monday, if you need translation for the Thursday meeting, we ask that you submit it 72 hours before because it allows us to get the proper interpretation. And these board meetings are very, very long. So it's a lot of content that our interpreter needs to review and prepare. So we want to make sure that we have sufficient time. So again, this is effective January 1st. You're going to have to request it. And this information, the link to request it is online. So we do have a section now on our website called News. It's right next to our calendar. And post everything regarding changes to the board, even like cool stories. So we encourage you to kind of stay in the lookout for that, but we will be posting these changes. We already posted this one on Parent Square, and anytime we do make a change, we're gonna let everyone know so you guys can be prepared. But we do encourage everyone to attend our board meetings. There's some very good information about our testing, the changes that we've made that we think you guys should know. You can attend in person or watch it online through YouTube. If you miss it, there is a recording there too, so you can go back. Right.
Thank you. Thank you. So as you put the dates that we showed you of the district meetings, also put in your calendars 3 days before that, request interpretation. So to make sure that we're covered. Okay, these are some suggestions that they wanted us to present on in regards to the interpretation. Suggestions for any parents, volunteers who are speaking through the interpreter. First, address the assembly in your best language. If Spanish is your best language, do it in Spanish. If you are, the reason why is because of time. We prefer that you do it in Spanish so that the interpreter can catch up and do it quicker and stay on schedule and they keep moving them. Um, and also, we want you to speak in your language because we want to show the community that we are multilingual, who we are, and that we're all here supporting our kids. So whatever language you choose to speak is up to you, and just take it easy and take a breath and just let it out. Your voice is important. Your opinions matter. Okay. Um, opportunities to volunteer. Please reach out to your schools and see to right here to Erin Blatt Johnson to see if you can help with the library program. Next meetings. DPEC will be, Special Needs Family Support Group. That will be November 19th. It's next week. That will be next week. DPEC, December 11th. AAPAC, December 12th. And Community of Multilingual Families, us here again, January 15th. So put it on your calendar, please. This is some sample textbooks that you can ask for in the middle school area. So to be honest with you, this was a Julie slide, but I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's a resource that you can ask in the middle school area. So, yes, thank you. Please.
So as part of, I think this is for the language arts curriculum, right? We are required to share with you guys the books that we are looking into for the new curriculum, and the books are actually back here in our district. So you can review it. If you have any questions or you want to provide comments, you can always let Julie know. But any parent is welcome to come and review the textbooks that we're looking into. So that's why she put that.
Oh, okay, because the curriculum, you're looking into changing the curriculum, and this is,
I believe this is for middle school.
okay.
Yeah, so the books are here, yeah, so the books are.
Okay.
here. You guys want to review them.
It's part of the process before we adopted the curriculum, the district, the parents get to review it.
Excellent. So now I know that. Why, this is why we come to the meetings, because this is something I have to look forward to in middle school, because I didn't know this happened. So, that's why we come, because you at a kindergarten level, you at a 5th grade level may not, me at a 3rd grade, I still don't know what and I'd like to know. Important to share. Thank you.
I think that was the.
Is that the last slide?
That's the last.
Uh-huh.
Eva, did you still want, I believe she still wants to ask her question. I'm not sure. I see her on camera.
So she couldn't unmute herself.
Oh.
I can ask to unmute.
Hola.
Hola.
Hello,
Sí, yo
hello.
soy Eva Muñoz,
My name is Eva Munoz. I had some difficulty connecting, but yes, this is an opportunity. I'd like to share an idea that I have as the mother of a child who is in double immersion. Yes, please proceed. The first question I have before I offer my idea is, with a student in double immersion, are they qualified in the group in general education for reclassification? So yes, unless the student has an IEP, being in the double immersion program, they're qualified as general education. Once you answer that yes, they're qualified or they're considered to be in general education, I had a meeting with Mrs. Cruz, and I was given the training regarding how to support my daughter to practice for the exam before she does it in the month of March. My idea is as follows. I have the feeling that the curriculum is focused on helping to reclassify the kids, and on the percentages for reclassification are based on about 70% understanding of the language. My idea, is there a way to promote to encourage tutoring one extra day of the week, maybe on Saturday. This would be so that the students have another intervention opportunity and access to another opportunity for interventions. Those students who are in general education, they would have another intervention for English language, just like they have in their ELD classes during the week. If this program, some additional program, that this could exist as an opportunity, intervention for them, that if their main language is Spanish, as is my case, I only speak to the children in Spanish. It's rather difficult during the week to wrap up all of your chores, all of your assignments in Spanish and English and mathematics. The kids are pretty tired by the end of the day. So if there's the possibility to add a few hours, maybe on a Saturday, during which the double immersion program, so that the kids who speak another language, if they can meet with an age that is similar to theirs, kids who can read to them or do an extra activity, not just the one that they originally had in mind or in the classroom. This would be so that they can show better results, so that they can perform better and not just achieve or attain the minimum threshold, but so that they can go over and above that. This is an idea that occurs to me because the school, Mark Twain, last year, they offered a program on Saturdays during which the students had the opportunity to eliminate their absences, to catch up on their attendance. So the question is whether one of you or maybe somebody who is an administrator could offer this kind of an alternative, and that the student might have the opportunity to use this and not just catch up on their attendance, but to work on their language and to achieve higher indices, higher percentages of students who are being reclassified and reduce a little bit the pressure during the week. This is an accelerated program, and we can see this with all the effort that the teachers are investing in trying to keep up with all of the goals. If to these program you could add to these Saturday programs, if you could provide some extra support for students who are emerging multilingual students. This is the first comment that I have, is that I see the enthusiasm that all the teachers invest and how qualified they are and how well qualified they are for this. A Saturday program might motivate somebody like myself who is a mother or a father. They want to see something extra. If we could see a way to assist them and support them personally. I have lots of idea of how I might be able, during 3 hours like this, I could make a half-hour presentation to the children and to be more motivated to speak a bit of English, because for my daughter, the easiest is to speak Spanish. If this sounds like a good idea to you, that I'd love to see this happen. I have another idea as well. I don't know if we have a lot of time, but first of all, thank you for your comment. Allow me to answer the first question, because yes, we are in overtime already and we want to respect people's time. With respect to Saturday programs, this is a little bit more difficult for me because we're talking about budget. If we're talking about opening the schools, we're talking about different parameters that are beyond my control. But we can take this idea back to Julie and she can talk about what might be done, what is within our reach. But I love the idea of bringing resources that we can use for our students. And if we cannot do this on Saturdays, if it's not possible to do this on Saturdays, then maybe we can find another way, maybe an extra resource book that the parents can use for instance, for an hour on Saturday mornings or when they have the extra time. Perhaps there are ways. Students are involved in activities on weekends. Students have weekend activities already. So maybe it's difficult for a lot of people to show up at schools on Saturdays because they're already involved in sports or other activities and family activities. So we may not always have good results if we open an entire school for one or two children to show up. So that's why it becomes difficult. But Senora Eva, please, Senora Eva, in your put your contact information in the chat so that we can hear more about your ideas, like this presentation that you are saying you'd like to present. I'd like to hear what this presentation might be so we can find ways of applying this. And yes, absolutely, ma'am. Regarding the people who are here, I have, if you have one, I have one more question, and then I'd love to hear your ideas. So please leave your information in the chat. I spoke a little bit about my son who did didn't do terribly well in language arts and iReady. And so we're suggesting that they benefit from tutoring opportunities. So from 4 to 5, they have an additional class. This was mentioned because perhaps Ms. Eva, this is something that might be available to other children. They can achieve additional support to make more progress. They meet to practice their reading in Spanish, and our questions can help them to recommend. There's another program that's not just for math. It's you can talk to the teacher. If the student, check with the teacher if the find out if the student needs extra help, talk to the teacher about this. And then in the form, or you send a link, then um, you can sign up for an appointment. You can schedule an appointment. Also, if your child is not in an IEP but needs some extra support, as we all say, then check, always communicate with the teacher. It's extremely important and useful to communicate with the parent. There are lots of opportunities at school so that the children don't feel so stressed out. It's like Viviana said, that if they don't have to, if they go on Saturdays, that might be something that serves as a source of stress. There's different ways that we can support the children, but we're always here. Our doors are open. We're always available to look for other solutions. Yes. And with that, we will close the meeting and we will see each other at the next meeting.